Coming up on City Spotlight, the focus is on Effingham. We will visit with Jeff Bloemker, the mayor of Effingham, and Todd Hull, Effingham Economic Development Director, who will talk about the latest in retail development in Effingham, current and future road work, and the proposed changes to the liquor ordinance in Effingham. City Spotlight starts now. City Spotlight is supported by Consolidated Communications. CCI is honored to salute the cities and their leaders in the area, as well as providing TV, internet, and phone service to local homes and businesses. We live where we work and are proud to support the communities we serve. More information available at consolidated.com. I'd like to thank the mayor of Effingham, Jeff Bloemker, and Todd Hull, Effingham Economic Development Director, for coming back on City Spotlight. Gentlemen, thank you for being on.
Thanks for having us.
Hi, Ramin.
It's been just a couple short months. The summer has moved along. Hope it's been a good summer in Effingham for both of you.
It's been a fantastic summer.
Good.
Excellent. And when we talked to you, Jeff, you had just taken the position of mayor in Effingham. A few more months added on to that. How are things going for you as you've transitioned into being the mayor of your hometown?
Well, I'm still having a blast with it. It's everything I thought it would be. I mean, it's to step into the role of mayor of a municipality such as Effingham, and the dynamism and the resources we have and the people we have to work with and the talent we have to work with. It's just a gift, and so I'm having a blast with it.
I know there's some recent awards that you'd like to talk about, and we'll talk about those awards that Effingham has received here over the summer. But first, let's start with economic development. A lot going on there. Todd, you've been a busy guy lately, and as always.
Which is great, yeah.
And so there's a lot of places that have activity going on, whether they're starting up, evolving. Let's all over Effingham. So let's start in the northern part. What's going on in the northern part, Keller Drive area of Effingham?
Quite a few things. As you mentioned, each section of the city, it seems like we have 8 to 10 projects going on. On the north end, of course, that's more the commercial area. So we do have a development up there that is going to include a new Chipotle restaurant, and then as part of that development too, they're looking at demolishing an older hotel up in that area, and possibly putting 1 or 2 more developments on there, possibly a couple more restaurants. So that's real big. That's up in the Walmart area. And then of course the Workman Sports Complex, which the mayor and I were just there, visited, walked through the facility. It's an 80,000 square foot sports complex. We'll have indoor pools, gym area, indoor running track, workout areas, and so forth. So that they're looking at having that open sometime the first of the year, and then the pool portion will take a little bit longer. So probably February, March, they're looking at possibly having the complete facility open.
Okay. This is going to be a real gym, not only for Effingham, but for the region. We hope to be able to host regional volleyball tournaments, basketball tournaments, swim meets, and things like that, and it's going to be a beautiful facility.
And you've talked about the possibility of hockey as well.
If that's one of those, that's where we're dreaming, and if this goes over well here with this particular venue, then we've been told there are a lot of people that travel through Effingham every weekend on their way to hockey events throughout the Midwest, and so we may see if we can figure out some way to accommodate them.
Yeah. Hockey is not one of my personal favorites, but I don't know of all the hockey venues south of here, so to have a place like that to potentially host hockey events could be a major draw.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Also on the north end, we have a new veterinary clinic be opening up there on Outer Belt West, which is the new roadway on the western boundary of our retail area. We had a new strip center go in that is home to Christopher & Banks and Famous Footwear. That's kind of located in front of Kohl's. Heartland Dental, they actually continue to expand, and there was an existing building next to them that Patterson Dental was originally in, and Patterson built a new facility. So Heartland's going into that, expanding, and they just added about 100 people in that facility. And then on the north end also, a new regional VA clinic was constructed. Okay. And so kind of consolidated some of the VA clinics in the area. So that's brand new facility, just getting ready to open, and it'll also have about 8,000 square feet of retail space available. So another new company could come into there and locate. And then right next to that is the Hudson Mill office and retail center, which everybody always asks, what's that big red building? So that is Hudson Mill, and so that just opened up also. In the central area, probably one of the bigger projects is the new library in the downtown, and They are going into what was formerly the Fifth Third banking facility, located on Route 45 in downtown. And so that'll give them lots of room to expand, and they're in the process of rehabilitating that facility right now and actually moving into it. So that'll be real great for the whole community. El Forno restaurant just opened up downtown. It's an Italian restaurant. We'll have a full menu, and so it's real great. So come down and visit that.
Wood fired.
Yeah, wood fired pizza. And
Can I just cut you off for a second there,
Sure.
Todd? Alluding back to the northern part of Effingham, a lot of those businesses, the areas that Todd was alluding to, you see them right off the interstate. If you can talk about the growth of that area of Effingham when you first come in on the interstate, coming from the north, the northern part of Effingham and those businesses.
Well, exactly, and that's a good point. I mean, in Illinois right now, it's rather difficult to attract manufacturers. I think we're going to focus on maybe the logistics area, the agriculture area, but we're really seeing a lot of interest, particularly there in the north side of Effingham, from the retail and restaurant and entertainment areas, sectors. And so Effingham's kind of evolving into that type of a hub, which is we're fine. We're with that. We're ready to accommodate that type of activity. And so it's something that we're real excited about. Our retail tax revenues are at a historical high right now and have been for how many months, Don?
last couple of quarters. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
So we're excited about that.
Okay, going back to the downtown area,
Sure,
Todd, are there
sure.
a few other places that are things are happening?
Yeah, absolutely. Midland States Bank, they're constructing a new banking facility, about 8,500 square foot new facility. Grunlow Construction is building a new complex. Hartke Insurance just opened up their new facility downtown. Roads to Health is a chiropractic office that opened up. They actually rehabbed an existing facility that was a automotive shop. And then Weston Company, a CPA firm, they just constructed a new complex. And then we have a new paint store that opened up downtown in addition. So a lot of activity in the downtown area also.
And a lot of those businesses, Jeff, are kind of in the vicinity of the courthouse. City Hall is near the courthouse. Talk about the downtown. The downtown is the kind of the heart where everything has grown out over the years.
Right, and we're doing everything we can to push activity downtown. We've got our new the Effingham County Museum and Cultural Center is just doing a fabulous job down there of capturing the story of Effingham. Of course, City Hall's downtown. We have a great occupancy rate downtown. The city staff does a great job of keeping it looking good, landscaping, keeping it clean all the time. We're driving events. A lot of the event coordinators are really tuning into that, and they're planning their events in the downtown area for 2016. Mm-hmm. Of course, we're trying to tweak our liquor ordinance a little bit to help accommodate that type of activity and do other things to help energize the downtown events.
And like we talked about with the interstate running on the north end, and that's how people see those things. The downtown area, you have the U.S. routes, the Illinois highways, so people are seeing things via that way for the downtown area.
Right.
Okay. It's the old National Road that goes through our downtown area.
Yeah, very, very high traffic counts coming through the downtown area.
Yes, a lot of roads merging together. Is that it for the downtown area? We're going to talk about the southern part of Effingham now?
Pretty much. The only one I missed was the new Lexington Inn. It's a new hotel, 68-room, 4-story hotel. So that's a great plus for Effingham also. So.
Okay, so we've hit.
Of course, right across from that is a Honda dealership.
Oh, a new Honda dealership.
Schmidt Honda, which is
that one too.
Oh, okay.
No, go ahead.
I'm sorry.
All right, so the new Honda dealership,
Yeah.
and now we're on to the southern part of Effingham. What's going on there?
Beck's Superior Hybrids, they just opened up, or not opened up, but they're in process of completing their new facility. They purchased 90 acres and constructing a 90,000 square foot complex there. They are going to make that their research and distribution facility for Illinois, basically. I know the mayor and I were just at a big research farm day that they had.
A field day, they call it field day.
Right.
And we got a little taste of what Beck's is going to bring to the Effingham area. I mean, not only are they're going to have a world-class research center there, but they have these field days, and they're almost like the old Chautauquas, where they have they bring in tents, and they bring in equipment, and they do presentations, and have speakers and so forth. And it was really exciting. It was a neat day.
Excellent. And I also understand there's a new facility for sportsmen to attend or potentially be able to a gun range, indoor gun range.
Right, indoor shooting range. It's in the works right now. They're kind of going through the whole zoning process and everything, so that continues to move forward. So we're hoping that'll provide another opportunity for gun enthusiasts and everyone else interested in guns and shooting. Especially during the winter months, they can go inside and do that.
Exactly,
which we have a lot of sportsmen in that arena. A lot of gun owners, a lot of hunters, a lot of people like to shoot. We have a really robust sportsman's club there in Effingham County, and so they've been looking for this type of facility for quite some time. And so again, this is a development that the city has stepped up and is going to accommodate this type of development, and we think it's something that will be received quite well by the population.
I don't know if you alluded to this, Todd. Is this an older building that they're going to be renovating into?
Good point. Yeah, it is an existing building down in the business park area that's been vacant for not too long, just about a year or so. Okay. And so they're going to convert that into an indoor shooting range and then have some other other businesses located in the facility possibly also.
Of course, it's a little tricky, that type of activity. You don't want it downtown. And that's actually been explored in the past. The decision of the city council was we would prefer that type of activity to be on the on the outskirts of town, and the industrial park seemed like a natural place for it.
Okay, so as we talked before our taping today, 24 or so businesses, things going on north, south, in the middle. Jeff, you're a native of Effingham. To see all this activity with all these businesses going on, future looks pretty promising.
Boy, it really does. And again, it's just been a gift to be able to walk into this role with this type of activity going on. It's just a real gift, and it's just exciting. It's a lot of fun, and so we're trying to, we feel like we have lightning in a bottle here, and we're going to try to take advantage of it. And we have great staff members like Todd Hull and Jim Arndt and Steve Miller and many others, Sasha Altoff, Jody Taylor, whom you've talked with before.
Right.
So we're really running with this. We're trying to pick the ball up and just run with it as hard as we can. The community's behind us. We have great financial supporters. Trying to pull off public-private co-ops, and there are a lot of people interested in that type of activity, and we think that's important in these times when the state government and federal government are struggling to be able to pull in the private partnerships. That's something we're really going to try to leverage going forward.
Touched upon a couple of things we'll touch upon in a few minutes here. You kind of already alluded to the record retail tax in Effingham. Talk about the idea of Effingham, again, being a hub, a place, a destination for people to come to.
Well, being the crossroads of Interstate 5770, we have 38,000 cars coming through Effingham every day. Wow. And so we're accessible. When you look on the map, I mean, all roads lead to Effingham, so to speak. And so we're a natural in that sense, and the big retailers across the country recognize that. The big eateries and restaurants recognize that, and it's one of those things where one domino falls, the right brand falls, locates in Effingham, then the other dominoes start falling. That's what we're seeing right now. And
not to single out a couple of local businesses. Two of them have been there in Effingham for quite a while. Martin's IGA, and I think you had mentioned, Jeff, to me, Mid-America Motor Works receiving local business awards. Mm-hmm. Talk about those a little bit.
Those are stalwart businesses in our community, just foundational bedrock businesses, like I like to call them. And the Martins family has just given back so much to the community. You think about how many generations of families they've fed over the years, and they just have a fabulous operation, and they're just great people. Same with Mid-America Motor Works. The Yeager family they've brought so many people to Effingham over the past 35 years. It's just hard to. We figure that there's only one other operation in town that brings more people to Effingham on an annual basis, and that's Heartland Dental or the Convention Center.
Heartland Dental brings in a lot of
but
people too.
We just love the Mid-America Motor Works. I mean, it's a fascinating business.
The sheer size of their facility. When you drive up, I don't know how many people, they get off the interstate there, exit 162, and you hang a right and you start going north instead of south, and you see the sheer size of Mid-America Motor Works. You can see they have quite an operation.
Yeah, there's no other operation or person than Mike Yeager, who has put Effingham on the global map. People from all over the world know about Effingham, Illinois, because of Mid-America Motor Works.
Big scale, big scale. Speaking of big, I know that Effingham, you mentioned over the summer, have few awards have come your way. I know back in the spring when we talked with former Mayor Gillenwater about the 2014 East City of Illinois Award. I think I may have missed a word there, but talk about some of these recent accolades, awards that Effingham has received over the summer.
Todd, you have those? I have them. And it's kind of interesting. These just kind of started. I thought that maybe this was a common thing, you know. But the city staff says no, that's not the case, Mayor. This is kind of out of nowhere. We started getting these accolades, so to speak. One of them, Effingham's been named among the best places to start a business in Illinois. We're ranked 13th in the state, and this is based on business climate and overall economic health, with a population of 12,264. The city's 1,494 businesses maintain average revenue per business of $1,559,763.
That's a lot of numbers.
So yeah,
that's put that on the screen.
Yeah. Another one. Effingham's ranked #1 as the best place to retire in Illinois. And this is by Smart Asset. This was based on amount of sales and income taxes, number of doctors' offices, recreational centers, and retirement centers, and percentage of seniors in the area. So that was back in March that we got that. Ranked #9 out of all Illinois counties where people hold the least amount of credit card debt. And that was by Smart Asset. So residents of Effingham are more likely to be able to pay off their debt, and Effingham as a whole has greater financial stability than average.
Well, you're making it tougher on them with all these businesses right now all over Effingham. So that's good for them.
The last one we got was that we were named third best commuter city in Illinois based on our infrastructure, and they tie in some factor about ingenuity in terms of creating new businesses. So rather interesting. Again, kind of interesting nuggets that you normally wouldn't think of, but they've all just kind of fallen Effingham's way here just over the course of the summer.
I love numbers and nuggets. So very good. The food nuggets are also good too. Let's talk about the public works. Let's talk about roads, and obviously a lot of roads going through Effingham. And you told me yesterday some work and 5 lanes one way on the interstate. Wow, in Effingham.
Well, yeah, actually it's 6 lanes. So
6 lanes.
Yeah, they expanded the interstate. It's basically the belt line around Effingham.
Right.
So we're 57-70 merge.
Right.
Was 4 lanes, so that was expanded to 6 lanes. And
wow.
we were talking about that on the way up here, but we think they've been working on it about 5 years now. So we think this year they're going to get down to maybe have some lane work and bridge work still to complete, and then hopefully have everything completed next year. But that'll be very nice.
You alluded to, and it can't be emphasized enough, the number of cars that go through Effingham. 6 lanes one way or so, that's a metropolitan city type thing right there.
Absolutely.
That speaks volumes to the traffic you do get.
We hear that from a lot of people who travel through Effingham and never had the opportunity to stop. When we tell them that the population's about 12,500, they can't believe it. They can't believe it. They say, we think we're going through, a metropolitan area the size of Atlanta, Georgia, or something like that.
Okay, to turn into a topic that's going to be voted upon here. We're taping at the end of August. To be voted on September 1st, so what we're about to talk about will have already taken place when this program airs. A proposal has been made to the liquor ordinance. Jeff, if you could just go into a broad spectrum, some basics of what it is. Yeah.
Well, as I'm finding out, managing alcohol in a municipality is a very complex issue. There are a lot of different philosophical views about that. I'm coming from the business community, and I'm trying to take a commercial perspective on this. And not, the Volstead Act was repealed back in 1933, so we're not dealing with that here. We're talking about how we can accommodate the consumers as well as create a healthy business environment. So one of the things we're looking at doing is tweaking the ordinance so that we can allow the vendors of wine and craft beers and so forth to be able to mix in with the events downtown. Right now they have to be they're put off in a tent across the street from the downtown area, and so we want to be able to allow them to be a part of the event, and we think that'll help energize those events and actually bring more vendors to Effingham as well as more people. The other thing we want to do is really more for consumer convenience. We want to allow the grocery and drugstores to be able to sell things like beer and wine on the floor right there along with your other products, so that you only, it's again, consumer convenience. You get your eggs and your milk, and if you so desire, you can get your bottle of wine or your 12-pack of beer right there in your cart, make one transaction instead of right now you've got to make one transaction with the groceries and then go to another room and make another transaction. So we're not trying to turn Effingham into party town. We're going to enforce the laws, and we're going to expect common sense and healthy decisions. But again, we feel like we're preparing Effingham for the next level with these types of moves.
Okay, and again, this will be voted upon, or will have been voted upon on September 1st. And so those results will have been known when the people are watching this program. All right, I briefly want to talk something that I've been discussing with other city leaders on other episodes of City Spotlight, the state budget. State budget, obviously, as we're taping here at the end of August, still has not been passed. And my question to people such as yourself and Todd, other city leaders, how has the lack of a state budget that hasn't been passed, how is it affecting Effingham now, or if at all?
Todd, do you want to press that?
Go ahead, Mayor.
Okay.
Both of you.
Right now, it doesn't appear to me that the city of Effingham is feeling immense pain from what's going on right now in Springfield. They're withholding our motor fuel taxes, and they're withholding our video gaming taxes. So what we're trying to do is use our cash to cover those missing elements, but we're trying to be very careful about how we spend money that was originally budgeted out of those funds.
Okay. I was going to add, as far as economic development standpoint, I think with the budget impasse, it's affected the different programs that are available through the state that we utilize when we're working with companies and so forth. So kind of puts, Illinois locations at a disadvantage when competing against other states in that we don't have access to the state programs. So that would help out a lot once the budget gets approved.
And is it, from your perspective, is this a impact on more short-term planning, or this affects both short-term and long-term planning?
We're hoping that the budget will be passed, let's say by October, and that those funds will be released. Okay. So we're hoping to get back on track by the end of the year.
So not too much of a delay.
We hope.
Okay, as we get close to the conclusion of this episode, gentlemen, I want to talk about a couple of events coming up, and one of the big ones on Effingham's calendar, the Corvette Fun Fest. As we alluded to in our previous episode, I also talked with Jody Taylor from Effingham Tourism. It's a monstrous event, and just lots of people coming to Effingham for the weekend. Talk about what is that? What is Corvette Fun Fest? What is Effingham like when that comes to town, or when it happens?
Less than a month away, September 17th through the 20th. It's an opportunity for the people from the Midwest, from this region, to see some incredible vehicles. I mean, the Corvette is a world-class sports car at a great price. And the Corvette owners, of course, the Corvette's been around for many decades, and so they're willing to spend money on their cars, modify them, and so forth, and they're very passionate about it. And so, it's fascinating. Effingham, that Friday afternoon, even as early as Thursday evening, you'll start to see Corvettes showing up on the streets. And everyone looks at each other and go, "Oh, the Corvettes are back in town."
Yeah. I mean, it's so big that it fills up all the hotel rooms in Effingham. Of course, we have about 1,200 hotel rooms just in the city itself, but the hotel rooms as far as Champaign will be filled up because of the event.
Well, that's absolutely amazing. You can't miss them coming down. And as far as having an event that has been happening for quite a while, and it's so large and lots of people come, how does it help with businesses and maybe businesses that are trying to come to Effingham and they see that this happens once a year? It could be something that could be
Right. I mean, as far as the existing businesses, of course, they get all this additional traffic coming in. I mean, you try to go out and eat, when they're in town, and it's pretty tough. So you got
long wait time.
That's right. That's right.
Well, I promise you, Mike Yeager can tell you how that money turns over in Effingham. He can give you probably exact numbers on how that money turns over in Effingham.
And as the mayor mentioned, it brings in people from all over the country, people from out of the country, all over the world, basically. And I mean, gives them an opportunity to see Effingham, what Effingham has to offer, and we've worked the tent out there during Fun Fest every year, and we'll get people coming in, and with an interest in possibly putting a business in Effingham. So
Get world-class automotive engineers come to Effingham that weekend, world-class automotive writers, journalists and so forth. I mean, artists. I mean, it's an incredible congregation.
October 16th, if I looked on the calendar, Chili Fest.
Yes,
What's Chili Fest?
That's put on by the Effingham Central Business Group, and I think they're maybe into their third or fourth year with this thing, but they basically shut down the downtown, and businesses and other groups come in and make chili, and they have live music and crafts and that type of thing. And again, it's just kind of a way to kick off the fall season.
We're changing seasons pretty much. Fall is upon us, so something both of you are looking forward to as fall is here. We'll go with Todd first.
We're working on several large commercial projects. I guess one thing I'd love to see is to have one of those move forward and get off base. And fall's really a time where we start gearing up, and actually, as I mentioned, we have not only some large commercial projects, but some other projects we're working on, and it seems like fall and winter is when they really start getting geared up, because they want to get construction going in the spring and everything. So. And
Jeff, what are you looking forward to?
Well, for me as a new mayor, you start to identify, and I'm realizing time's really going fast. I have to prioritize my wish list here, and so I start to identify the things that if it takes money, I've got to get to the city staff and start getting this into that next fiscal year budget. They got to start thinking about that now. But when you talk about fall, we have an interesting issue that we're wrestling with from a government standpoint anyway, from an administrator standpoint, with burning of yard waste right now. This is something it's a, no pun intended, it's a hot topic, because there's obviously debate both ways. There are those who have breathing problems, respiratory problems, and they want to ban on burning, again, leaves, yard waste, etc. Then there are those who say, if we can't burn it, what are we going to do with it? You're going to make us have to go pay to get rid of this. So we're looking at a lot of different options there. Everything from maybe doing limiting burning to only a few days a week, to a nice turnkey solution that Edwardsville is an example of a municipality that's doing this well, where they offer a service that picks up normal garbage. They do recycling, and then they also pick up yard waste for a few dollars more for the service. And so we're researching a turnkey model like that. But when you start talking about fall, that's a topic we're going to be wrestling with here very soon.
Absolutely.
I think we'll have to pick up on that pretty soon with you as we get closer to maybe winter, so in a couple months. Gentlemen, thank you for coming on City Spotlight. Jeff Bloemker, the mayor of Effingham, and Todd Hull, Effingham Economic Development Director. It's been a pleasure, gentlemen. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ramin.
And as we conclude here on City Spotlight, let's take a look at some of the upcoming activities going on in Effingham. City Spotlight is supported by Consolidated Communications. CCI is honored to salute the cities and their leaders in the area, as well as providing TV, internet, and phone service to local homes and businesses. We live where we work and are proud to support the communities we serve. More information available at consolidated.com.